Hello, my name is Dylan Luna, and today in my student biology presentation, I'd like to talk about how biology connects to the food that we rely and eat every single day, specifically about the important topics that were displayed, which is pesticides, genetically modified crops, and the fermentation, and how these affect the produce that we eat. I think a good place to start this presentation is pesticides, because pesticides are a chemical product that is put on almost all the fresh produce that us humans buy to this day. Pesticides are chemicals that keep like insects, diseases, and viruses and fungi off of our produce before they hit the supermarket. There is a couple downsides to pesticides, as they could cause some environmental or health concerns to people. Mainly being that residues or unwanted pesticides could be on the produce that you buy today. This is a very big issue because we, as humans, should not be consuming these chemicals or even putting them close to our bodies, if we are going to be honest. In addition, it can also harm insects and bees that do spread pollen, because these pesticides could go onto the bees if they try to, touch this produce. And another issue is that it could contaminate the soil and the water that is around certain produce. Many scientists do study pesticides because it is such a big issue and they want to keep everyone safe. Next thing I would like to talk about are genetically modified crops, or GMOs. These genetically modified crops have had their DNA altered using biotechnology, and these can change the way the plants kind of adapt and grow as they're being produced. Three things are: they resistant to insects and disease, they can tolerate less water being given to them as a plant, and also you can use less pesticides when you use GMOs to grow certain crops. There's some upsides, as it kills pests and it reduces the need for more chemical spraying, which are pesticides. There are many controversial areas when it comes to GMOs or genetically modified crops. The main one probably being the long-term health effects that people will see from always eating GMO products or chemically sprayed products. Another issue is crossbreeding certain produce with non-GMO produce, kind of messing with the nature of the food, and also the loss of biodiversity in the food that we eat. As you go to the grocery store, you usually see the same 10 to 15 produce products that all grocery stores often carry. Despite the major role that these genetically modified crops do play in feeding people around our world, it's usually not the best option when it comes to buying produce as a human. Now let's move on to something that people usually find a little bit more tastier, and a lot of people often do to most of their produce that they end up getting, which is fermentation. Fermentation is this biological process where certain microorganisms, like for example yeast or bacteria, will go into your food and break down the sugars into other products or different flavors like alcohols or acids or something like that. This has been done for a very long time. People have fermented or salt cured many type of foods for thousands of years. Some examples are like bread. The reason that we let bread rise and grow before cooking it is to give the air and ferment the bread, so that way it rises and bakes as we would like. Yogurt is another example, because this is a fermentation of the bacteria in the milk. As this milk was once liquid, it had to be fermented and changed to turn into the thick-like substance that us humans usually eat. And sauerkraut, kimchi, cheese, these are all examples of fermentation, as you let the food sit in certain acids and things and break down to provide different flavors. Fermentation does not only use to preserve your food, but can be to provide flavor, like I said, and also some micronutrients and healthy parts and vitamins. These three topics go over a lot of different areas of produce and how food can be changed or altered. But these three topics, GMO, fermentation, and pesticides, show us how biology is used in our everyday life, and the food that we eat every single day. From pesticide protecting crops, GMO making plants longer and more efficient, and fermentation making micronutrients and different flavors. At the same time, they remind us that biotechnology has a lot of trade-offs from inventing new things and balancing the safety and the lives of human beings. Clearly, biology plays a crucial role in every step of our food system, from how we grow crops to how we protect them and how they are processed and the way that we eat them. Understanding these sciences behind the food helps us make smart and informed choices about what we eat and how these plants are impacting our planet. I appreciate everyone for listening, and if you have any questions, please let me know.